So there's a concept in psychology called denial. And this is a defense mechanism where a person will reject or distort reality because the truth threatens the ego or identity they built for themselves.
So I've already covered this, right? And we're here obviously to talk about my new book. So I've earned the title. I have multiple degrees, and I'm not going to prove anything to anybody. And we're going to leave it just as that. Yeah.
Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
Baby, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
And that's where, and you're standing.
No, she's not dapping you up. You see the hesitation before the high five she tried to throw up there? She's like, yeah. No, she's like Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. She left her hanging for a minute there.
Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
Baby, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
And that's where, and you're standing by that.
Standing by it, yeah,
right.
because I earned it, absolutely.
All right, well,
Yeah.
thank you.
No,
thank you. I know you're going to hang around and
I
want to
thank you for asking the hard questions.
Well, I
appreciate
to. You know,
that.
I'm a journalist with 2 degrees at the end of the
How
day,
many?
and so I.
Oh! Okay, so the Cheyenne Bryant saga continues. She's not willing to lay down just yet. She has a book to launch, y'all. And Cheyenne Bryant stopped by Fox 5 DC. If you know anything about the DMV, we don't play with the false credentials, the faking of the education. She does not quite want to answer the question yet, but she is forced to make another statement. She told us on the Breakfast Club interview that she wasn't going to talk about it anymore, but she's still getting these questions. And I think she should get that pressure. Every podcast, every sit-down interview she does from here on out until we get to the bottom of this. Do you have a doctorate or a master's degree, ma'am? Because now the master's degree is also in question. I've been talking about this for 2 years. It's a force of habit right now. So please forgive me in advance if I refer to the woman formerly known as Dr. Cheyenne Bryant as Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. It's a force of habit. I apologize. She's Cheyenne from now on. Which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with her just being Cheyenne, the life coach. Like, I don't understand why she has to fight the inevitable. But unfortunately, she hard-headed. And what they say, hard head makes a soft ass.
Y'all gotta go get this book. You guys made Mental Detox, my first book, a bestseller. I know we can run these numbers up. We gotta do it again, y'all.
That's life coach and Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. And she is here now, so come on in and congratulations on your latest.
Thank you
Gorgeous.
so
Have
much.
a
Thank
seat.
you.
Thanks for coming live in studio.
I'm gonna add this to your book.
Oh, please do.
collection,
Please do. And
honey.
I've read your book.
Yes.
Is it, how many have you
This
put
is
out
my
now?
second
The
book.
second
My
book.
first one, Mental Detox, is also
Yes.
a bestseller.
Wow. So for many, they know who you are.
Yes.
For others, this may be an introduction.
Yeah.
So you often talk about, and you talk about it in your book, going from the hood to the hills.
Yes, baby.
How has your life informed your journey and what you share?
Oh gosh, I talk about it in my book, Live Your Promise, how, you know, growing up in the inner city as a young girl, the oldest of 7, the product of teenage parents, had an extremely loving, tight-knit family, but the environment sometimes was dysfunctional and toxic. And so growing up in that, knowing that, look, I don't know where I want to go, but I know I got to get the heck up out of here. I always say sometimes it's not where you're going that gets you there, it's what you're running from.
What is she running from? That is so ironic right now. What are you running from right now is the question.
Have a goal to get me and my family out of this, but to come back and give back and provide resources to the inner city. And so I say, I went from the hood to the hills by the grace of God. And as the Bible says, it was good for me that I was afflicted. So my afflictions created a certain muscle, a vertical backbone, and a character in me that allows me to withstand the storm. And the wilderness is what I talk about in my book. And we all have a wilderness that happens every time before you enter into your promised land. It precedes the promised land, which is you living in your promise.
Yeah, you share those biblical scriptures and stories as well, words of affirmation, even pages where you basically urge the reader.
Quick, how many of y'all think she's gonna do a quick hook turn into the ministry at some point here? That's what it sounded like, because I'm hearing a lot of scriptures out of Cheyenne Bryant. Like she's this pious figure. Her fallback plan is the ministry, y'all.
There's a lot of things that you just have to learn by experiencing it and being. This is why the wilderness is so important, because the wilderness is giving you experience. You're learning on the job. Relationships, marriages also have a wilderness season. It's not kumbaya the entire relationship. So when you all are in the wilderness, that means you're learning yourself, you're learning the relationship, and you're learning how to love on each other. The Bible says love each other by knowledge. The knowledge piece is your recipe. It's not about giving them what you want them to have. It's let me give you what serves you. I'll land on this. Marriage is a service position. Can you serve? Can you serve the person or not serve yourself? That's what it's about.
Yeah. I have to ask you this. I have a segment here called Motivation with Marissa, and I know you're a motivator for many people, and oftentimes when you have that role, that moniker, you're the strong friend.
Yeah.
So I got to check in on strong friends. I want to check in with you because you've gone viral recently. People questioning your credentials, whether you should even be giving advice that you're giving. How are you doing, particularly within the last few days?
Thank you for asking that. I love that. I'm actually doing really good. I don't know a person who has received this amount of free marketing. It couldn't have happened in a better time for my book that just, launched a couple days ago, and within.
Wow. Did you hear that? She immediately reverted to this is good publicity for her book. I told you about that financial incentive, that financial motive she has. But this also indicates some type of other, naturally somebody who is being scrutinized for their credentials would take pause and be like, hold up, let me evaluate things and see why people are saying that and address that within myself. And you're supposed to be a psychology expert and therapist, a life coach. You're supposed to be a coach. I think she needs an evaluation. And that's the sad thing about this. She is the one in need of an evaluation at this point.
It couldn't have happened in a better time for my book that just, launched a couple days ago. And within 24 hours, we made the bestsellers list, not only for print, but for the ebook. And so that's.
And all these fools out here buying the book, I get being curious to see what's in there after all these revelations. But if you choose to follow the words of this lady, and she told you that it's not important for her to be a doctor and or a professional licensed therapist, you deserve what you get.
Very exciting. Also, I know a couple of things. There's promises that God has for us. He says that all, not some, all things are working for your good. He also says that not to get weary in well-doing. And he says that I give you much territory, and your job is to possess it, and my job as God is to protect it. I protect what I give you. And so when territory is
Pastor Cheyenne here.
expanded, God says that the cross gets heavier. And if you cannot carry a heavy cross for the expansion of the territory I gave you, then guess what? Maybe you're not ready, because to whom much is given, much is required. And so it's important for people who are in service, in leadership positions, to not personalize, right? When you have folks who come in and attempt to crucify what you have going on, because your job.
She's being crucified now. That's really what she thinks? Dog, people had the best of intentions for this woman. They really gave her a pass. Like, I'm looking at people that normally wouldn't fall for somebody like herself, and she's thinking that she's being crucified. She needs to stop playing with God like this, too.
Job is to not get weary in your service. And I'll land on this. My obedience is to God, not to people. And so as long as I'm in his will and I'm serving and I'm doing his his word, my sheep will know my voice, even the sheep in wolf clothing. That is not my battle.
But with the questions that are out there, why not?
She just called y'all sheep. It's more like sheep being led to slaughter.
But with the questions that are out there, why not provide the proof of your degree? Why not?
Well, a couple of things, right? I have multiple degrees. And my thing is that my proof isn't something that I have to prove to individuals. My proof is already within my credentials, my degrees, and also more than just my titles. It's in how effective I've been. All of my sessions have been live for the most part. My sessions with Nick Cannon, Cam Newton, Shannon Sharp, B. Simone, they have all been for the world to see, right? So no one knew who Dr. Bryant was prior to seeing all of my sessions that were live. And they deemed it.
Now, did they consent to have a live session? It doesn't sound like it. Cam Newton did not, I'm pretty sure did not consent to have a live session in that first interview. That is the malpractice that all these professional people have come out here and said that she is displaying. And the fact that she doesn't have a license, that everybody was saying she didn't need a license. You remember everybody was arguing she didn't need a license. This is why she needs a license. If she caused harm, and I'm talking about when her sessions with Ray J, somebody said if she does a session with somebody as a coach with bipolar disorder or PTSD, she's causing more harm than she actually is doing good. And that's a crying shame. You need to stop playing doctor right now, because you are potentially causing harm. And we all saw it from the door.
As well as I did before they did it. They can't validate me. I validated myself. They deemed it as my work being effective. I am effective at what I do. I'm educated and I'm successful in my lane, and I land on this. I created my own lane. And so a lot of times, Marissa, when people see that you created something that maybe they couldn't, admiration turns into envy. And you got to be okay. And you just got to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a shot at Dr. Raquel. Why are you shooting at Dr. Raquel again? Dr. Raquel actually did something that you didn't do, that you didn't take the time to do. She actually went and completed her doctorate. She actually works with the community that she's working for. Now, I don't know all of Dr. Raquel's work, but that was a direct accusation that somehow Dr. Raquel isn't as popular. Somehow Cheyenne is somehow more valuable. Man, I'm telling you, Dr. Raquel needs to get more bookings after this, because this is part of the problem here. We're dealing with, don't get me up here to diagnosing, but starting to see some symptoms of some serious personality disorders in this woman.
As an attack, but I think, and I've gotten this question from many viewers, and I owe it to them, in service to them.
Absolutely.
Why not drop doctor from your name if you cannot bring forth that doctoral degree?
So I've already covered this, right? And we're here obviously to talk about my new book. So I've earned the title. I have multiple degrees, and I'm not going to prove anything to anybody. And we're going to leave it just as that. Yeah.
Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
Baby, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
And that's where, and you're standing.
No, she's not dapping you up. You see the hesitation before the high five she tried to throw up there? She's like, yeah. No, she's like, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. She left her hanging for a minute there.
Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
Baby, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
And that's where, and you're standing by that.
Standing by it, yeah, because I earned it, absolutely.
All right, well, thank you, thank you. I know you're going to hang around and
I want to thank you for asking the hard questions.
Well, I
appreciate that.
You know, I'm a journalist with 2 degrees at the end of the day.
Many?
And so I.
Oh! Did you catch that? She really got them degrees. We really have them degrees. People who really have degrees don't have to do all this hemming and hawing about getting a transcript or getting a diploma, like getting a picture of your diploma. Your dissertation?
Thank you for asking the hard questions.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, I'm a journalist with 2 degrees at the end of the day. And so I had 2.
Come on, girl.
Yes, Northwestern and Emory University. So I had to make sure I display that as well as a journalist. So thank you for coming and for hanging around. We're going to have some fun in just a little bit.
But all week she's been going through it. A lot of people have been hilarious on this topic. I'm glad that some people are admitting that black men deserved an apology about this, because we've been screaming from the mountaintops this whole time that this wasn't a real doctor. I think some of the responses are worth 2 years talking about the same topic and trying to get this through a lot of thick skulls.
I'm not understanding the hate and the backlash for Cheyenne Bryant. You know, she's a former classmate of mine, and, you know, I too have my doctoral, but my doctoral is in aviation, and I got it from Argosy, and I cannot get, you know, any of my transcripts or anything for employment purposes, but I was employed for, you know, years with Spirit, and I did all of the aviation resources because you need a doctoral to hold that position. And like, really, can't nobody tell me what, you know, I ain't do. You know, I'm an expert in aviation and aviatorial matters.
Aviatorial studies.
It's really starting to feel like you guys is hating because y'all don't like to see, you know, a bitch shining. Like, and, you know, I'm only going to go over it this one time, and that's just for my people. And that's it. Like, you know, the rest of y'all, you know.
So all these haters out here talking trash, trying to keep a good black woman like Cheyenne down. This is comedy, man.
Okay, I'm going to explain this one time and one time only, never again. I'm a doctor because I say I am. I break it down for you because I know there's a lot of people in your community that don't quite comprehend the things that I'm speaking.
Okay.
I am psychologizing a lot of people
right.
with my knowledge and my knowledge alone. The reason I don't work within a licensure is because it would require me to diagnose you with bipolar schizophrenia. Ooh. Do you want bipolar schizophrenia?
No.
That's what I thought. I was a part of a doctorology program. I completed the program and then the school burned down. Okay. After the school burned down, only 3 transcripts were saved, and I was one of the 3. They were held by the mother of the originator of the school. That person died 2 weeks later, and no one has ever been able to find the transcripts after that. When you join my program, the first thing we make you do is dig a ditch. When you dig that ditch, we make you put your face in it and scream out your problems. That is unloading and unpacking. A lot of therapists don't do that. That's why my program is a little bit better, and you wouldn't get that if you had a license. But how do we know you're a doctor for real? You think they give this to everybody? The reason that you cannot find my dissertation, my research, is because it's actually part of my coaching program. You do have to actually sign up to be a part of my fandom. My Doc Squad, they know what's up. If you sign up for the newsletter, you actually get my dissertation. That's a part of the welcome package. Yeah.
Wow. I'm glad she explained that. Everything's very clear now for me. Makes a whole lot of sense.
So there's a concept in psychology called denial. And this is a defense mechanism where a person will reject or distort reality because the truth threatens the ego or identity they've built for themselves. As a licensed psychologist, and I know other mental health professionals would agree with me, as we're watching this Cheyenne Bryant situation unfold, there's another layer going on, and we call that cognitive dissonance. That's the mental discomfort that happens when someone's reality conflicts with the story they've told themselves, the story they've told the world. And instead of correcting it, people will double down on the narrative that they've created because admitting the truth would require them to confront shame, loss, embarrassment, and even the collapse of the entire identity they've built for themselves. As a licensed clinical psychologist who spent years earning my doctorate, completing supervised training, and passing state licensure exams, I honestly long had questions about her legitimacy because there's a language clinicians use, there's a depth of understanding, precision, and ethical responsibility that becomes second nature through training. And when someone repeatedly misuses terminology or speaks in ways that don't align with the foundational clinical knowledge you
Thank you. We've been saying this for the longest time.
Get from education and experience is going to raise flags for those of us who are actually legitimately in the field. And this is why credentials matter, not for ego, not for elitism, but because people are trusting you with their mental health, their trauma, their vulnerability, and their healing. And I mean, let's be for real. The woman clearly has the charisma, the communication skills, and the presence to have been able to build a platform without misleading the public about credentials she may not possess. People connect to confidence, relatability, storytelling, and delivery. She never needed to allegedly attach herself to a title that wasn't legitimately earned in order to have an impact. Our title should never be the sole thing that defines us. But for those of us who sacrifice years and years and years of study, clinical training, supervision, licensing, exam, and ethical accountability to legitimately earn those credentials, it's deeply unsettling to watch people attempt to hijack titles they never earned. It has nothing to do with jealousy. It has everything to do with ethics. You can have all the confidence in the world, and it doesn't mean you're competent. Confidence is not competence. A platform is not proof, and popularity is not professional qualification. We've got to do better, y'all.
Killed it. She killed it. Shout out to her. Yeah, I'd like to find out her information. She sounds like she's on the level, man. We need to start promoting some of these people who are actually trained professionals, not charlatans that are out here perpetrating. You know, I thought this was interesting. This is from the horse's mouth, really. I want you to see this admission. Comments I saw in Cheyenne's comment section on Instagram. It says, if Dr. Dre can be a doctor, why can't Dr. Bryant? This is one of her doc fam, I'm guessing. I heard that they got their degree from the same school. And she responds, the same darn school. What's the problem? Did she get that honorary degree at the same school that Dr. Dre got one? Like, that's interesting. Of course, you got the simps right up under her, which the simps, y'all have a problem too. Dr. B is a real man's dream woman. Get the hell out of here. Anyway, it's interesting that she's still trying to die on this hill, die on the lie. It would be so much easier if she just came out and said, you know what, I was capping this whole time. But one good thing that's come out of this is that we've found some trained professionals that actually exist on these platforms that maybe weren't getting as much attention as a Cheyenne Bryant. You know, I think it still needs to be, we still need to have accountability in this day and age. We've got so much going on in the world. We don't need people being led astray by folks that are unprofessional. Anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all uploads. If you want to watch more, please watch one of these videos down below. Make sure you hype the video and join the Faucette Media Patreon. The link is in the description. This is Faucette Media.